Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Good morning to y'all. Good morning to you all. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Morning Talk, episode 5, with your host with the most, Commander Judea Salakia, teacher Judea here at One Nation Israelite School. We've been delayed a couple of days. Sorry for the inconvenience, but we back. So in the famous words of the one and only, wake your ass up! Let's get it popping, baby. Let's get it on. Let me get this coffee going, and we're gonna get into this thing. See? Today's topic: false revolutionaries. All right, yeah, no sweat. All righty. Welcome back. Once again, I'm your host with the most, teacher Judea here at One Nation Israelite School. Thank you for joining us once again with Morning Talk, episode 5. Now, first and foremost, I want to give a quick apology to all those who've been expecting the show and it hasn't been coming on. Got a lot of things going on with my current situation. So I wasn't able to give you the show for about the last 2 or 3 days. Again, there's going to probably be another delay on a couple more shows, but just work with us, stick in there with us. We gonna make it happen for you. We gonna make it happen for you. All right. So, first thing first, I need you to get on up, get that coffee up in your system. Some of y'all probably driving to work right now, like, damn, baby, damn, don't want to beat her, and I understand it. But guess what? There's somebody else that's probably worse off that probably wish they were on their way to work right now. But saying we want to give thanks to the Most High for waking us up. Anywho, because there are some who just didn't wake up this morning. It's some people getting ready for a funeral this weekend, and by the grace of the Most High and by His mercy, it's not us. So, if you in that situation, my condolences to you. And if you aren't, you got one more day to get this thing right. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into some topics, right? But I want to do today's show a little bit different. We're gonna start this thing off with a little bit of laughter. So I'm gonna give y'all this prank call scene real quick. Then I'm gonna come back with the what's going on instrumental. And then by that time, we should be ready to go into the topic. All right. So y'all check this thing out. Y'all gotta check this thing out. It was funny. It was funny. It was funny. All right. Let me check real quick. Let me see what my status looking like over here. It was funny. Okay. Well, let me put the thing on for you real quick. And then y'all, we can go from there. All right. So what I want to do is I'm gonna start this thing off. I'm gonna give y'all this prank call, which was hella funny, and then we're gonna come back with the what's going on instrumental, and then we're gonna go into the topic.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm trying to reach James. Can you lie?
Yeah. What's up?
Hey, this is Gerald. I was a friend of your friend Chopper.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And Chopper just passed away last week, right?
Yeah, he did.
I know they supposed to have a funeral and stuff over at Mount Baptist Church. And I don't really know you, but me and Chopper and a bunch of the rest of us, man, we used to hang out at the club not too far from the house. That's pretty much where Chopper was all the time at the club. Anyway, what bunch of us was over at the club talking, man, and we was really want to reach out to one of the family members, and then somebody said you was, kind of a good friend of his. And well, we decided to call you and see if you didn't mind. Do you think that you can talk to some of the family members and see if they don't mind having the funeral at the club?
At the club?
Let me try to explain something to you, James. Is what we're trying to do is see. We believe.
You said at the club. Come on, the club. There's a funeral. What?
That's what I understand it. But see, Chopper ain't really go to church a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? He ain't really go long as I've been knowing him. Now he loved the Lord and stuff like that.
Yeah, but these are church going folks. They want a funeral.
But I understand, but see, Chopper wouldn't. Chopper went to the club. So what I'm asking you is, let's have the funeral at the club.
Hell no, bro. Come on. We can't have no damn funeral at no club, man. Come on. No.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, dog, is that he wasn't really no church going person. I believe that a person ought to be last words ought to be said over him in a place he's more familiar with. You know what I'm saying?
Player. No, I don't know what you mean, player. No, this got to be a funeral. This is church folk. I go to church and all my folks go to church. No, we got to do this thing up in church. This is a church thing.
But you don't feel. But do you understand where I'm coming from? No, that man ought to go on. And the last words ought to be in a place he's more familiar with. Now, if he went to church, then I understand that. You see what I'm saying?
Bro, hell no. See, this is his chance to get himself right. We don't have him up in church in front of everybody. You know, that shit don't make sense. Who's this again? I mean, who are you?
My name's Gerald.
But who is Gerald? I mean, how do you relate to this? Are you a preacher or are you?
No.
What are you?
No. I was friends with Chopper, and see, I hung out at the club and still hang out there with a whole bunch of was real good friends with Chopper, and we were saying that Chopper's the last words about Chopper ought to be said at the club, because see, that's what Chopper was. But 5-6 days a week, that's what Chopper was.
Yeah, but what church are you affiliated with? I mean, why the hell would I try to talk to the family, make me look stupid in front of the family, telling them to put the thing in a club? How the fuck that gonna go off?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. You know them way more than we do, because see,
goddamn, you talking about trying to move from a damn funeral at a church to a damn nightclub or a strip club or something.
No, it's not no strip club, it's just a nightclub.
Well, goddamn, it's the same thing, ain't it? Shit, I mean, you talking about goddamn having folks travel from across the country and meeting in the damn club.
But that's what Chopper was. That's what Chopper was.
How the fuck I'm gonna look if I'm the one telling them to move this shit to the damn club?
You're gonna look like somebody that's trying
like a fucking fool.
No, you're not. You're gonna look like somebody that's trying to keep it real, man.
Goddamn, come to the damn funeral Bibles to do some shit like that.
Okay. Let me ask you this, shitty, Jane. Do you think you can maybe get the body and bring it over to the club?
No, hell no.
Well, I'm just saying, before they even do the funeral or whatever.
Oh, hell no. I ain't touching shit. Goddamn, I'm scared to walk in the dog by my fucking self. What the fuck I'm gonna touch the goddamn body for? Hell no.
We're just trying to say our last words at Chopper, man, in a place that Chopper most.
No, hell. Again, who the fuck are you? How the fuck you get my number?
Somebody at the club had your number, said you was friends.
Goddamn, but why the fuck y'all call me of all folks? Why the fuck y'all call me?
They say you good, you in with the family, you can talk.
I am in with the family, but I ain't in with the family make me look stupid. Shit. Hell no. Won't y'all, I give y'all the number to the family. Y'all call the family. Y'all tell them that shit yourself.
Man, I just trying to get you to bring the body by, man, and let us.
No, I ain't touching no goddamn dead body.
We just want to have one last drink with Chopper, man.
You have one with your boys and shit. You get together with them and y'all talk about him and let him know how Chopper was, what kind of person he was, what kind of person he is.
We want Chopper to be there. This is Chopper you talking about, man.
Y'all bring y'all motherfuckers asses to the church. Y'all niggas need to be up in the church.
We want to have Chopper at the club where we know.
Come on, man, y'all full of shit.
Well, we know.
Y'all ain't gonna fuck my ass up and have my ass looking goddamn like a fool at a damn funeral.
But that's about Chopper, though.
And damn right it's about Chopper.
You bring Chopper to that club.
Motherfucker, y'all tripping, man. I ain't goddamn doing shit, goddamn. I'm just going to this funeral. I'm gonna goddamn tell the family what I think about this goddamn Chopper, and I'm moving my ass on. If y'all want to goddamn act crazy in front of goddamn family, y'all call the goddamn family yourself.
You either bring Chopper, you get ready to get your ass whooped.
You ain't whooping nobody's ass, goddamn motherfucker. Shit, I don't give a fuck who the fuck you are. I don't even know how your motherfucking ass got my goddamn number, motherfucker. So the fuck you talking about whooping somebody's ass, motherfucker? You know I'm goddamn 20, 50 pounds, motherfucker. I'll whoop goddamn your ass any day. Who the fuck are you anyway?
You gonna get it busted, or you gonna bring Chopper?
Motherfucker, who the fuck you talking to like that, nigga? Nigga, you gonna beat me right now, nigga. Who you? Nigga, you don't know me.
Look, I got one more thing I want to say.
What the fuck you got to goddamn say to me?
I got one more thing I need to say to you.
I don't know your ass, motherfucker. What, nigga? What?
This is Nephew Tommy from the Steve Harvey Morning Show. You just got pranked by your boy Devon.
Oh, motherfucker, you tripping, nigga? What, nigga?
This Nephew Tommy, man, from the Steve.
Oh, this Black Folks Buggy, man. As you can see, his brother got turned up after a while, man. He tried to keep it cool, man. He tried to keep it cool. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I know the language was kind of strong, but I figured, give you a little something, get your little juices rolling so you can laugh a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So let's get this what's going on popping real quick, and then we're gonna come on back in. Let's jump right into this topic.
Hey, what's happening? Brother, This is a big party, man. I can dig it. Hey, man, what's your name?
Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up. Oh, wake up, wake up. 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 Wake up, Lake Tom. Let's get it.
Hey, man, what's your name?
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Alrighty. We back. Shalom. Welcome to One Nation Israelite School Morning Talk. All right. We got a good little segment I got going for you. I'm gonna make this short and sweet. Once again, I'd like to say I apologize for the delay on the shows the last couple of days. I have a lot of things going on with my situation right now, you know. And things get crossed and haywire, and you know. But today let's tackle a topic. I want to talk about false revolutionaries. Oftentimes in the Black community, we'll have celebrities or people that are in higher positions in society that are so-called African American or of Negroid descent, and they'll come out and they'll say some things, and it sounds revolutionary. It sounds like they actually care for other people, when indeed they it's just not that way. It's a persona that's being put on, and it seems as if they're conscious, but not really. It's not really that way. For example, I'm gonna play a clip, right? I'm gonna play a clip, and this was when the Deontay Wilder fight and all that stuff was getting ready to go down. Like, Deontay Wilder sounded revolutionary. He sounded like he was militant. He brought up the slavery, and he was speaking with so much fierce and so much anger, and it was and Black people all over the place, as far as the Israelites, we got hype. We loved it because it showed we thought this brother was on. But what happens after the fight? So you gotta look at those types of things when I say false revolutionaries. We got the Martin Luther King dream. Everybody thinks Martin Luther King was a revolutionary when in fact his dream was probably the worst vision ever for black people because we lost everything behind that so-called vision or that dream. Cardi B recently saying, "Oh, she wasn't going to perform at the Super Bowl, but then she performs at the pre-show, so she can say technically I didn't celebrate at I didn't perform at the Super Bowl, but you did the pregame show. You get what I'm saying? So, and the whole point of them saying they weren't going to perform at the Super Bowl was to back up what Colin Kaepernick was talking about, the injustice of black people. But yet you still out there, you're shaking your ass. You said the words to your song. You did it. You celebrate. You performed at the Super Bowl, whether you want to say it was the pre-show or not. You did, and it all comes across as revolutionary, which. It all comes across as a false revolutionary. How many people stood up and they spoke good and great and swelling words as if they were down for the cause or they were down for their people, but then when you look into their background, they're married to white men or they're married to white women, or it was only for that particular moment to get gain. Then they turn around, they say they love the enemies. They were never actually, their care was never actually for the black community or us Israelites, period, because we know all the Israelites are of Negro descent. Their care was never for us, their people, us. It was never for us, but in fact, it was just a way to make merchandise of you, and to line their pockets, because you hear them speak on a regular when the camera's in front of them. They speak careful to not offend the white man in other nationalities, when in fact we are still being harmed. And the care for our concern is not really what matters to them. It's about their own pockets and pleasing their owners, the slave masters, the so-called white man, and every other nationality. Right? So let's start off where we always start off real quick. Let's go to Matthew chapter 4. Matthew chapter 4. And it reads, "Then was Christ led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterwards and hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God." So here we go there to let you know that according to the scripts, our lifestyle is not about bread. Why? Because in the world, we often fast. Salakia. We often starve. We often hunger for bread, manna, tangible things that we can eat. But the scripture tells us that we are not to live off the bread alone, but yet off of every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High God. So let's eat this spiritual bread. So now, as I was saying, today we're going to talk about false revolutionary. Now I'm going to play the clip that everybody got pumped up about when the fighter Deontay Wilder came out before the Tyson Fury fight. We were all hyped up when we heard this speech. And he seemed militant, and he seemed as if he knew something, and he had a deep love and anger for what happened to his people. But in all actuality, it was just another persona, just like so many of the other false revolutionaries that have come and stood and claimed to speak for black people. Let's get this clip real quick, and then we're gonna let's get this clip. Let me get it up for you all. So we're gonna get this clip playing, And then we'll come back in a second. All right. Hold yourselves tight. Shalom.
Damn.
The champ Deontay Wilder right after the madness that took place on the stage during the face-off. Let's hear what the champ has to say.
Deontay, what happened on stage over there during the face-off?
I mean, it's just the energy. The energy is building up. All the talk is going to come to a ease. You know, it's over with. It's just the energy. I'm tired of hearing this story about him promoting his mental illness, about turning up the bottle, about putting that sugar daddy and his sugar mama in his nose, or that sweet candy, or that white girl, whatever you want to call that powder. I'm tired of him talking about losing weight. Man, this is America, man. That goes on every day. I don't want no foreigner coming over here selling no story in the American public suck into this because he has a British accent. Get the fuck out of here. Because if I was the one doing that, they'll call me a drug addict. They'll call me somebody that abused my body. They'll call me probably a terrorist. It's just a dick.
Exactly. Now, as you hear him speaking, it sounds revolutionary because what he's saying is those problems that Tyson Fury getting all this glory and praise about, he's only getting it because he's a white man with a British accent. And you don't even have to have the British accent. It's only a true American story because it's a white man and they love it so much. But it's people in the hood go through that every single goddamn day. Now, you know what they get? Jail sentences, prison sentences. How many of us growed up around people who were addicted to drugs? And every once in a while, you get one that kick that habit to the curb. They don't receive that type of praise. You see, the things that the white man get glorified for are our everyday living. The same things they get glorified for are the same things we get killed, persecuted, punished, imprisonated. We get those things are the same things that we get tortured for. But because it's a white man, he receives glory and praise. All right. So at this point in time, he sounds revolutionary, right? Let's let this finish.
I come from a different world. I ain't hearing that. Call me a drug addict. They'll call me somebody that abused my body. They'll call me probably a terrorist. It's just I come from a different world. I ain't hearing that. But it's time. Everything he says is gonna be. I'm gonna hold it against him. I can be the judge in the ring. Everybody that comes with him, they can't speak for him. They can talk that shit, but when they come in the ring, it's only me and him. He can have 4 trainers. I don't give a fuck who he got in his corner. He can have the best of the best trainers in the corner. They can't fight for him. They can't teach him nothing that is going to be able to prepare for me because I'm different. I'm one of a kind. Y'all don't understand, man.
Said that he's got the power to knock you out.
Come on, man. Who the last person you see him knock out? All right, then. So we don't believe him. What he says, we don't believe. But what I say, you better take it. You better take it to the bank because I don't play around in this sport, man. I say what I say, and I deliver it. And you got to be careful, man. They're going to tell you what he going to do. He actually do it to you. And that's what I do. I'm a man of my word. Many times people have said what I can't do, what I'm not going to do. But you don't have the power to prove that to no one, do you? But I have all the power to prove that. Not only do I.
Now, what I want y'all to do is bypass all the sports talk bullshit, okay? Bypass all that because sports have done nothing for our people. Sports is just another form of distraction. Another thing it's another form of distraction, okay? Though we master everything that basically comes before us, understand that sports is just entertainment. That's bullshit, okay? It's not going to give you equality as such. All right? So bypass sports shit. We just here for the revolutionary part of it. Let's get it.
I can tell you I'm going to knock you out. But when it's time for it to happen, I show you what I'm all about. I show you. And it don't get no beautiful than that.
that a man can tell you what he gonna do and then do it. These fighters always worry about how bigger they are than I, whatever. Who give a fuck? Who cares? I know if they know them, they know me. You know, and that's just bottom line. I don't care. You never heard me talk about how big I want to be or what. I give a fuck about that. I don't want to be bigger. I don't care who knows me. I like to be low key, down low. That's the way I roll. That way nobody won't understand or know what I have or possess. That way they won't have to be sitting back lurking and try to rob from me because I pity the fool that does that. I have a lot of people around me, positive energy, positive speaking, positive believing, until that energy is broken. And then there's consequences behind that action. See, I don't care about all that. But what I do care about is protecting my family and providing for them. But what's I'm gonna do? I got a beautiful life, man. I got a happy life. I'm a happy being. Only time y'all see me enraged is when I turn into the bronze bomber. But this is the week of the fight. This is the time for it to happen, to everything to come out. I feel it, bro. You can't feel the power.
Deontay,
energy. Oh,
Deontay, Radio Raheem.
Oh,
listen, man, you said that your people have been fighting for 400 years.
Man, your peoples too.
So I just want you to explain what you mean by that.
So now, here's where he gets to his part of the revolutionary speech. When the man asks him, you said your people been fighting for 400 years. He says your people too. Now, the reason why he's saying that is because this brother that he's talking to, what happens is you got one person who's pretending to be revolutionary and about his people, and one person who's just being honest that he loves the white man. The one who's doing the interview is the one who's just being honest about the fact that he loves the white man and doesn't really have a genuine love for his own people. And the fighter, Deontay Wilder, is the one who's pretending to hate the white man and really love his people. But in all actuality, he doesn't. It is what it is. So let's get this part. This is what we've been waiting for. Let's get to the revolutionary part of the speech.
You know what I'm talking about. Y'all all know.
Radio Raheem. Listen, man, you said that your people have been fighting for 400 years.
Man, your peoples too.
So I just want you to explain what you mean by that.
You know what I'm talking about. Y'all all know what I'm talking about, man. Don't sit up here and try to bait and not know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what the fuck I talk about when I say these things. Your people too.
Explain it. Not everybody knows what you're talking about.
Radio Raheem, I don't have to explain what's understood, man. You know what I mean by that. You know what I say about it. I ain't got to go further. And if anybody don't understand that, then God be with them. Go look up the history. Go look up the history. Shit, don't everybody believe in Google? Go Google that shit. See what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, man. You know what I dare you to sit up there and say, explain. You know what I'm talking about, man. It's fighting people. You know we've been fighting 400 and still fighting to this day. To this day. To this day. You just sit here, you don't know what I'm talking about? Man, I'm out of here, bro. Let's go. Come on, let's go, man. Let's go, man.
Radio Raheem with Deontay.
All righty. So there, when we saw the speech, we saw the fire in this brother's eyes. We saw the passion in which he delivered that part. We were ecstatic. It was like this brother may know something. We rooted for him behind that. We thought this brother was revolutionary. He was getting ready to, start saying what it is. But then the fight happens. And what happens after the fight? He immediately does what? Hugs the white man. Says, that's my brother. And then also said, I love you. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. The glass broke. The glass broke. It was all just a persona. It sounded good. Deontay Wilder appeared to be militant, but then hugs the white man. Tells the people he loves he loves them, and that's his brother. Now, that right there is far too often what happens in the black community when we have these so-called revolutionaries. They all come across as if they love our people. They down for the struggle. They feel what we've been through. But in all actuality, they're only lining their own pockets up. Because after it's over, once they got what they needed out of the deal, then they go back and show and display genuine love to the enemies. All right, so let's go to let's do it like this. Let's go to Matthew 23 real quick. Matthew 23 and 25. Like I said, we're gonna be short and sweet today. We ain't gonna be long. I'm not gonna drag you out. So Matthew 23 and verse 25, and it says, woe unto you, scribes. Now, woe unto you. Now, Deontay Wilder, Deontay Wilder and all these other false revolutionaries that came before him and that will come after him, they may not necessarily be a scribe or a Pharisee, but the agenda is the same. Okay, so let's read it again. It says, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites. Hypocrites is what is a key word there. Hypocrites. Deontay Wilder, all those people who came before him. Look at the dude that played in The Birth of a Nation, the dude that played Nat Turner. That's a revolutionary type movie. He played one of the biggest revolutionaries in Black American history, but yet goes home to a white woman. He's married to a white woman. Now, how big of a hypocrite can you be to play Nat Turner, but yet be married to a white woman? What I'm showing you is the level of hypocrisy. Think about the level of hypocrisy in that. Now you go to Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Martin Luther King's dream, and him to supposedly love and care about the equality of Black folks, but yet let's mingle and mix and segregate and end segregation and join hands with the white man. And behind his dream, guess what happened? Miss Mary on a corner shop lost her bakery. Mr. Thomas corner store was shut down. Why? Because his dream was not to build Black people, but in fact unite with whites and suppress Black people. Why? Because Martin Luther King himself tells you one of the most famous quoted stories in his history is the fact that Martin Luther King wanted to be friends with some white boys, and their father told the white boys, don't ever play with that nigga again, and he was hurt. Martin Luther King loved white men and white women. Now, eventually, it's said that he finally snapped to his senses, but that was after he put us in the position to lose all that we did have. The little bit that we did have that we were surviving off as a people, he made us forfeit that to support his white loving dreams. Okay, so now let's read it again. It says, woe to the scribes and woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you make clean the outside of the cup of the platter. Salakia. For you make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter. So it says, from the outside you make it clean. So understand this. They are first of all, what we got to do is go back and understand that hypocrites. That hypocrite part, that is the spirit of everyone that's not following the Most High in Christ. That is the spirit of them. They all seem revolutionary. They all have a hypocrite spirit on them because it's one they seem one way when in all actuality they're moving another way. Get what I'm saying? They put this act on as if they're revolutionary, but in their actions they really love the white man. They want to unite with everybody. They are suppressing their own people. Okay, so then it says they make clean the outside of the cup and the platter. That's going into the outer appearance. They appear to be for their people. They appear to be for their people. They appear to care. They appear to want reparation or some type of payout or justice for their people, but in all actuality, that's not their concern. So the outer appearance is one way. Let's read on. But on the inside, it's another. So Matthew 23, verse 25 again. One to you, scribes and Pharisees, for you make clean the outside of the cup and the platter, but within you are full of extortion and excess. But it says, but within they are full of excess, extortion and excess. So the outside of the cup is clean, meaning the outer appearance is if they are revolutionaries or they're down for the cause or they angry for the hurt of their people. But in all actuality, no, that's not the case. They don't give a damn about the oppression that blacks go through. Their job is their heart is not set on black folks. In actuality, they're not militant. They're not revolutionaries. They are not down for the cause. They do not care about the hurt of their people. In actuality, they actually love the white man. And they're only lining up their pockets. You know what I'm saying? That's why it says the out appearance is one way, but inwardly, they are full with extortion. What does it mean to be full of extortion? Meaning they only care for the money. And excess, the excess is they love the money so much, they'll do whatever it takes to get the money, and that includes trying not to offend white people. That's exactly why when the fight was over, he went and hugged that white man. He told that white man he loved him. He said that that white man was his brother. You want to know why he did that? Because that is what we call damage control. That is what we call repairing whatever bridges he may have broke with the so-called white man. Whatever bridges he may have broke with the so-called white man. That was the same thing with Martin Luther King. We are all created equal. I see black boys and black girls. Why? Because he wanted to let it be known, no, this is not a black power movement. No, this is just we want to be friends. We want to love you. We just want to be, everybody should be on one accord together type of movement. You can lead, just let us get a piece of the pie type of movement. Okay? You can't be a so-called revolutionary, but yet you suppress your people to impress the people that we are supposed to be rising against. I would judge that is false revolutionary, and that has always been a plague to the black community. Why do you think that there's no black man from the hood that's in a position like myself or like the majority of us that they'll ever let step to the forefront and lead the people? Because that person there, they will never let an Israelite, a true Israelite, be a spokesman for the black community. Why? Because that type of person cannot be bought. But yet they'll use a celebrity or someone in high status they've given a lot of gifts and rewards to. You want to know why they do that? The reason why they do that is because those people have been bought, and those people are what? Extortioners and full of excess. They will do whatever it takes to maintain in a place that they are currently sitting in. They will never let a oppressed black man, such as myself, such as a lot of these other leaders in Israel. There's a reason why they will never let them rise to a certain standpoint. They will never let you stand on the forefront. Why? Because they know that they can't be bought. You want to know why? I'm gonna give you a scripture real quick. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 7:7. I'm gonna show you exactly why you will never see a true Israelite get that type of exposure to stand on the forefront and speak like that. If they do, it will have to be because we put them to the forefront. But I'm gonna show you why they only let celebrities. Think about every nationality on the face of the earth. There's not athletes that's their spokesmen. You want to know why? Because this right here. But in the black community, Salakia, when you look at any other nationality, they do not let athletes be their sportsmen. The reason why they choose athletes to be our sportsmen is because of this. Athletes to be our speaksmen is because of this right here. Ecclesiastes 7:7, and it reads, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. Oppression maketh a wise man mad. That's the reason why they would never let someone such as myself and other is certain. I don't want to call, I'm not saying every Israelite, I'm not even naming out groups, because There's some Israelites that are just like the people that has already risen up. They're only there for their own gain, and they know that gifts can buy them out. It's only certain groups that I could actually look at and say, okay, well, that leader there was lifted up to be the spokesman for blacks. He would not sell his people short, because every Israelite doesn't have the genuine love. I'm speaking for the true and genuine Israelite by heart, blood, spirit, faith, and belief, and those who really love the black people. They would never let us be spokesman for black people. Why? Because oppression maketh a wise man mad. Oppression maketh a wise man mad. They know you cannot appease the wrath and the anger and the truth of a true Israelite man, of a true oppressed man. That's why they only let people who they've given financial gain to sit in a certain position to talk for black people. Why? Because those people do what? Suppress our anger, pacify the anger, and kiss the white man's ass. And by that, the white man stays where? On top. We stay confused and we never rise. Here's the end of the verse. Let's read it again. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and the gift destroyeth the heart. That's the reason why they let so-called athletes become the spokesman of black people. That's the reason why they push them to the forefront, because they know that gifts make it a gift destroyeth the heart, meaning the mind. You forget about oppression when they give you these gains. They know that them people love money more than they love their own people. So therefore, if we give them the gifts and the gains, now we have something we can take back from you. And because you don't really love your people, but indeed you love the way that you live, the gifts, the money, and the things that come with it, you'll sell your people short. You'll say the white man ain't that bad. You'll say that black people got to stop making excuses and make things happen for themselves, when in fact, black people have done it. Black people have done it for ourselves. And what did they do? Look at Tulsa. What did they do? Look at Black Wall Street. What did they do? They came and destroyed it. They built a system to where a black man could never rise again. But guess what? Under the spirit of the Most High in Christ, guess what's happening? We're rising again. And guess what? The first step to rising is we have to identify who the goddamn enemy is, which is the so-called white man in every nation around us that's surrounding us, that's keeping us down and oppressed. And number two, we got to kick out the goddamn people that look like us that are really hurting us. We have to get rid of you so-called revolutionaries that are not really down for our cause. We must get rid of you. Why? Because that gift done destroyed your goddamn heart, and you will not speak for the people. False revolutionaries. That's what we talking about here. All you so-called blackity black leaders. But in all actuality, you're saying things to appease the white man. You're trying to speak one way and act another. Or you'll speak this way today and then speak this way tomorrow. You speak against the white man today, then you speak for the white man tomorrow. Those are not our revolutionaries. They are not our leaders. They are not our leaders. And the moment you take your obsession away from him and his ability to play sports, you have to take your obsession away from the way that this man plays a sport. Take that away and then see what he really stands for. Because that's what happens oftentimes. You get bedazzled and obsessed with the way that he plays sports, and then you start to take everything that he says as face value or as this genuine act of compassion, when in actuality, he plays sports. That's it. He plays sports, but he does not care about you and your life, your situations and life. That's it. Okay. So now, oppression maketh the wise man mad, but a gift destroyeth the heart. That is the reason why they put only athletes to be the so-called spokesmen of the black community, because those people have been bought. Okay. Let's go to in full of excess. So it says, that's why he says, when it says in access, it's just talking about the gain, the love. They got so much love for the money. They will do anything to get it. And that includes selling their people short and trying not to offend so-called white man while doing it. So now let's go to 2 Peter's. I ain't gonna hold y'all long today. We almost finished. Like I told you, I wasn't gonna hold you long. 2 Peter chapter 2, and we're gonna get verse 3, right? 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 3 says, and through covetousness shall they with vain words make merchandise of you. That's heavy. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you. That's exactly what they do. When it says with feigned words, it means with feigned means to pretend or insincere. So with pretense or with insincere words make merchandise of you. Meaning what? They speak things, but they really don't actually mean it. It's a persona. It's an act. They say things that will arouse you from the inside. They say things that will have you, oh yeah, he's down for the cause. Like he have you feeling like he's for black men, black people struggle. It sounds good, but in all actuality, he doesn't give a damn about his people. It's to make merchandise of you. What did you do? You spent that money to see if he was going to actually beat that man up. To rouse you, to get you to stand behind him 100%. And then it was only to make merchandise of you. Here's another one. The Umar Johnson. Everybody was so crazy about Dr. Umar Johnson. Oh, he's revolutionary. Look at how he speaks. And he does speak with feigned words, meaning insincere speeches. And he does have he does come with a lot of knowledge when he speaks. But guess what? Those were feigned words. He didn't really care about black people. He took all that money out of the black community, and what the hell did he give back? Nothing. They've been waiting how long for that damn school to come up, and he done raised up how much damn money? You give me 1/10 of what he receives from the black community, and you would have a building, you would have a spot to come and worship tomorrow. You would have a place to come and learn tomorrow. He received all that money from the black community and ain't do shit for the black community. Nothing. Umar Johnson is another false revolutionary. Another false revolutionary. I think if something came out recently saying he quit. He quit. He got your money and now he's gone. Ran off into the woodwork somewhere. Allegedly. But how long has it been since Umar received all that goddamn money? Think about it. We have false revolutionaries that rise up all the time. And yeah, some of them are very good with words. They speak eloquent. They speak, and some of them actually do have good history. And it's some things that you could really learn a lot from the way that these people speak, but they speak with feigned words. They insincere about what it is they say they stand for. And I'm telling you this because it's some things that when Umar spoke, I did agree with a lot of things that he said. I don't agree with that African bullshit because I'm not an African. But as far as black men, you could never actually be a real revolutionary sleeping with white women or being with white women. I agree with that 100%. I agree with his understanding on how the white people have built a system to destroy blacks. Of course, we see it. I agree with most of the things he speaks when he's speaking about racism and the hatred that has been displayed towards the black household and the black man and the system that has been built to destroy us. He's 100% right when it comes to that. But guess what else? He's also a person that has done what? Not only he's made merchandise out of the black community while doing it. He's made merchants out of you, meaning it was only to line his pockets. He spoke with feigned words. It seemed as if he cared about the issues that goes on in the black community, but in all actuality, and he probably has a little care, but it's more about getting his money together. That's why you received nothing back from this college that he was supposed to be building for years. Okay, So now, when you think about it, that's what most of these so-called athletes do. That's what most of these celebrities do. They speak as if they care for black people when it's really just feigned words. They don't give a goddamn about your situation, about what we go through and how we live on a daily basis. They don't care. Why? Because that's not a part of their struggle anymore. And you know what else? I don't want to say things out. Some of them, they'll speak, but then they'll come back and retract statements in their actions and their deeds. And then they say, you know, one moment they're speaking about the pain and things that black people go through. And then they'll try to tie it into everybody. How? Black Lives Matter. Think about that bullshit. Black Lives Matter is a bullshit movement because it never really cared about the issues of the black people. It didn't care about the fact that we were being killed by police. No, that was a feigned speech, a feigned movement. That was actually funded by the white man to begin with. Now, how you gonna fight your oppressor, but meanwhile being sponsored by the oppressor? That's bullshit from the beginning. So now, when you think about that, Black Lives Matter, it's supposed to be in a Black Lives Matter. Then it turned to All Lives Matter. Then it turned into support of the LGBT community. So now you took a movement that was supposed to be about black people and the things that we go through, and then you tied it into gay rights and everything else, and you submerged everything into one big jambalaya pot. So now it's just a pot full of bullshit. But you know what? A lot of you put on your Black Lives Matter shirts. A lot of you sent your money in to support that movement when they were only making merchant of you. Black Lives Matter movement was an investment to get black folks money. That was all that was. It never really had anything to do with the care and the struggle of black men and black women or the black community as a whole. It was all feigned words. It was all false revolutionary speeches and marches and all that other stuff. But in actuality, they didn't care about your situation. And now the proof is in the pudding. Stop being fooled by false revolutionary, because people speak good doesn't mean that they really feel and are really down for what they speak good about, especially when it comes to the black community. So you see, it's all false pretense. A person will seem to be militant or revolutionary, but in all honesty, they really don't hate the enemy, but yet they're lining their pockets. Okay, watch this. Let's get another example of that in the Bible. Let's get more cases where people seemed as if they actually cared for the people, but in all actuality, they really didn't. It was more about their own personal gain. Watch this. When we go back to Matthew 26, right? Now, this is something that we read, right? But you got to understand the false pretense behind this that was being displayed. So Matthew 26, we'll start at 6, right? And it says, now when Christ was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointments, and poured it on his head as it sat at meat. But when the disciples saw it, they had indignation, meaning a type of anger, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. So it says, given to the poor. So now the persona is that this certain disciple actually cares for the poor or their people. The same thing that celebrities do. So they like, man, why'd you waste this oil? This oil could have been sold for much or even given to the poor. So the persona is that what? They care for their people. They care for the poor of their people. But Christ, being the know all, knew that it was actually BS. It was another agenda behind why this one particular was so upset about her pouring this oil on him. That's why, and let's read it, verse 10. When Christ understood it, he said unto them, why trouble you the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For you have the poor always with you, but me you have not always. So Christ, this one particular disciple was like, he was so upset and so angry about her pouring this oil. Like, you wasted this oil. It could have been given to the poor. Well, been sold for much. Now he got a persona as if he cares about his people. He cares about the poor of his people. But Christ, being the know-it-all, knew that it was BS. He had another agenda. And that's the same thing celebrities do today. And us, we have to be like Christ in those manners, in those times. We have to be like Christ, understanding that as long as we in this truth, us that's in the truth, we must know that. We must know that the celebrity is doing the same thing that this particular disciple was doing. We must know that if they're not in this truth, they are not really upset for black folks. It is another agenda behind why they're speaking militant, why they're speaking revolutionary, why they're acting a certain way. We have to be able to see those things before. We have to be able to see those things as it's happening. Just like Christ saw through that so-called disciple who was acting as if he was so upset and he could have helped his people. Christ knew that that was BS and it was another agenda. And that's the same thing we must be able to do when these celebrities get up and act like they revolutionary or they speaking for the struggles of black folks. We must be able to see that there's an agenda behind why they're doing what they're doing. So let's get what the agenda was really, because like I said, the disciple was acting as if he was so upset because he could have helped his people. So let's see what the real agenda, what was going on here. Christ saw it, and that's the same thing we must be able to do today. We must be able to see it. Let's go to St. John chapter 12. We're going to start at 1. St. John chapter 12, verse 1. And it reads, Then Christ, 6 days before Passover, came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, which had been dead, whom he raised from the dead. There they made him a supper, and Martha served, but Lazarus was one of them that sat at the table with him. Then took Mary a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Christ, and wiped his feet with her hair. And when the house was filled with the odor of the ointment, then saith one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, which betrayed him, Why was not this ointment sold for 300 pence and given to the poor? So there goes the persona. Judas Iscariot says, man, why'd you do that with this oil? Why'd you waste this oil? It should have been sold for 300 pence and given to the poor. The operative word there is given to the poor. Well, the operative statement is given to the poor. Why? Because what is his agenda? I mean, what is the persona? That he cares for his people, that he wants to help the poor. But what was the actual agenda behind why he was so upset? He said 300 pence. Why wasn't it sold for 300 pence? Why? Verse 6. This he said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief and had the bag and bear what was put therein. So Christ knew that the only reason he was speaking up and acting as if he cared for the poor was nothing more it was nothing more than the fact that he actually wanted to keep the oil so he can sell it and steal the money. The same thing celebrities do today. They speak with feigned words as if they are militant, revolutionaries, down for the cause, love their people, but in all actuality, they're just making merchandise of you. They're just making merchandise of you. They just want your money. They want your support so they can continue to what? Have access to your money. So here, Judas Iscariot is acting as if he actually cares about black people, but at the same time, only thing he really cared about was getting the money. Only thing he cared about was the money. His agenda was to steal the money. It had nothing to do with the actual care of black people or black problems, right? So just like Christ was able to see that, we must be able to do the same thing, us that's in the truth. We must understand that those who put on the persona don't actually care about black people. They don't care. It's only an agenda. Now I want to get one more script. One more script. Which one? It's because it's another situation that we could go to. Let me see. I want to get one more before I close it out. But I hope y'all enjoying the show. Especially this topic. Let's go to John, right? Chapter 11. And we're going to read I'm going to show y'all something. Watch this. Here's another part of false revolutionary. And I'm going to show you why. So when we cover all that we covered so far, understand, never really be fooled about false revolutionaries that rise up in the black community. Never be fooled by the way that one speaks, because they all speak with feigned words. Never be, because just like with Christ and the oil and how he knew what the real agenda was. And then when we go and read and we see what the true agenda was, that's how the celebrities do you today. They speak one way here, but here's what's really going on over here. They put this to the front for you to see here, but then they'll come back and you'll really see what's going on over there. So it's always an act. Understand that if they're not following Christ, if they're not following the Most High, that they all have a hypocrite spirit, and it's always some type of agenda to them. That's why they are false revolutionaries. So never fall for the false revolutionary. All right, let's get one more. John chapter 11. And let's start at let's get 45. St. John chapter 11, verse 45. Then Mary of the Jews, which came, then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Christ did believed on him. But some went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Christ had done. Then gathered the chief Pharisees, then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. So what happens is Christ is performing miracles. Now, one of Christ's main miracles was what? Healing black people, healing the black community from sicknesses. Like Christ literally healed people from sicknesses, rose people from the dead, etc. Right? His miracles was healing black folks. What do we do today in the Israelite community? We heal and fix black folks. But Christ was literally taking people out of sicknesses, out of deaths, etc. Whatever the case may be. Feeding the hungry, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. Christ was doing that. He was healing black people. We try to do the same in the Israelite community today. Those who are truly for their people. What happens with the scribes and Pharisees? They were supposed to be doing that. They were supposed to be leading the black people. They were supposed to be the revolutionaries. They were supposed to be teaching black people. They were supposed to be doing that. But what did they actually care more about? The gift. Remember, a pressure making the wise man angry, but a gift destroyed the heart. They really cared more about the gift. And what was their gift? Their seats of authority and their position. So as Christ is healing black people, they're trying to find a way to destroy Christ. Why? Because they said, then everybody, if we leave him alone, people will believe on him. And then what's going to happen? The Romans, the so-called white man, the man who sits at top and that's in charge, will do what? Come and take our position away from us. So the same thing with these celebrities today, and these athletes and entertainers. They are supposed to be leaders, supposedly. These false revolutionaries, they're supposed to be down for black folks, leading. But in all actuality, they're only in a position that they're in because they are willing to sell you short to keep the white man happy. So here, they don't actually care for black folks and the problems that's plaguing black people. They only actually care about their gifts and their seats of authority and the positions that they've been placed in. Same thing we read here, what the scribes and Pharisees was doing to try to find a way to stop Christ is the same things we live today, which is what your black entertainers and all those things, all those people doing. They're putting on persona as if they care about your issues in the community and the things that's plaguing the Israelites and the black community, when all actuality, they don't care about our troubles. They don't care about what we go through. They're giving you feigned words. Only thing they care about is lining their pockets and staying in a good eye and position in the white man's world. Okay? Don't be fooled by the false revolutionary. And don't be fooled by false revolutionaries, them who push the false revolutionary. All right? Don't be fooled. So with that, I hope y'all enjoyed this show. Please come back and join us again for episode 6 of Morning Talk. With that, I say shalom, shalom, shalom.